today we have a full panel. Karibuni wenzangu. I am excited to have everybody here today, and more are going to join us. Tunashukuru sana, lakini kama kawaida, before we start the show, let's have a word of prayer, and then we dive into current issues. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for yet another opportunity. We are coming together as Kenyans and as a love of our country. Guide our discussion today. May we learn from each other, and may we spread a positive message, and also may other people learn from us too. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite a week, or at least, actually a week or 2 weeks, let me say, for that matter. There are so many events that have happened, but first of all, I just want to take a brief moment to acknowledge the tragedies that have happened in the country. We had a serious accident with the Kenyatta University students yesterday, or the other day, technically the day before yesterday, because Kenyan time is different, which was, based on all the information I'm seeing, it was avoidable. It's an accident, loss of life that should not have happened, but it happened. I just want to express that sincere condolence. And there was also another tragedy with Kapsabet Boys students who were on a trip in Baringo, and so many other accidents that have happened in Kenya that it's bringing this thing to a forefront. But also the reaction from the government and people concerned is not really rational in my perspective. But we can dive into that. I just wanted to express those condolences, and I just give people a chance to say something. What has been your experience for the week? What has pricked or intrigued your mind? So with respect today, let me start with the lady in the house. Doro, karibu sana. It's been a while. We have missed you. Welcome back. Wacha nianza na wewe, karibu. Give us a summary of your week.
I think for me, habari zenu nyinyi wote. It's nice seeing you all. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. For me, of course, I'm praying for the families of the students in the accidents that we've had this week. Naombea family zao na the peers and everybody wakuwe na nguvu. But besides all that, we've also lost a couple people. There's this very vocal guy, young boy, Brian Chira.
Mm-hmm.
Hiyo pia pole kwa familia yake, though we didn't get to know them. And also the news lady, Tinina, Miss Tinina.
Yes.
I didn't know her personally, but we had a lot of mutual friends. So ni pole kwa hizo familia. The main thing that stood out, that is still actually blocking me from receiving any other news, is what happened in Kisii County. We lost our deputy governor. I honestly never even knew that a deputy governor can be impeached. So it's something that I just learned with the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's just a governor or anybody elected that can be impeached. Because to me, a deputy governor is not elected by people. He's brought in by the governor. Hiyo ni favor unafanyiwa, unaletwa kwa kiti, alafu unakuja unakuwa na kichwa ngumu. But that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time, I felt like the Senate was fair. They took time to listen,
mm-hmm.
and they almost voted like pamoja, unanimously.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the Kenya we want. Look for the wrong, cut the politics, and deal with the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope people can look at Dr. Monda as an example of you're not, being that you're in office, you're not higher than thou.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've read a lot of comments, and I see some people attacking the young boy, young man, Dennis, the one whose dad was doing ushenzi na Monda.
Mm-hmm.
No, that young man was looking for a better life for himself and his family. And it's just so unfortunate he lives in a country where you have to give something to get something. I never knew it can be that high, close to 1 million shillings, for you to acquire a job that's going to pay you less than 200,000.
Yeah.
I never knew that. But now I know. So these things shed a lot of light. And any leader who is going to attempt to ask for a bribe in order to give a job will remember Dr. Monda.
Mm-hmm.
He was a perfect example. And I hope the next time the Senate has a case like this where a leader accepted a bribe in order to give a job or anything or a contract or something, they deal with them even harsher than they dealt with Monda. So mi nilifurahi sana, nilijivunia kuwa Mkenya. Kwa hiyo siku moja nilijivunia sana kuwa Mkenya because I saw fairness going across that court, that whatever Senate. And I wish I was a lawyer, and I wish I was there because there were some tough questions and tough statements that I could have given that were not given that day.
Yeah.
Asanteni sana. That's where I'll stop for now. I'll just watch and see what's up.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Karibu sana. Let me go to the next person.
Hold on before Doro leaves.
She's not leaving. She was just giving.
What kind of questions were you thinking of?
Keja, let's give everybody a chance to give their week highlight, and then we'll come back and delve into the issues. So Bob.
Okay. Good morning, fellow tacklers, and good morning, Kenyans at large. It's been an amazing week, tremendous week, by the happenings that have been going on across the country. I think whatever thing happened at the Senate was good, but I hope that it will go beyond the Senate prosecuting the case. I think somebody of Monda's stature deserves to rot in jail, because we cannot play games that the Senate will prosecute and then the court will not take over from there. But however, that was a great step where we saw a bipartisan approach to issues by the Senate. And I hope as we go forward, issues will be tackled not based on the party position, but based on the facts that have been laid before the Senate or any court of hearing. Also for Rita Tinina, it's a sad day for the journalists, and I wish her family, colleagues, and the people who knew her my condolences, as well as the whole nation. So far, so good. We as a nation, we are also celebrating because of the depreciation of the dollar. 130 something is still is good positive signs, and I think the country is moving forward and going in the right direction. Yes, and I hope to grasp more from all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bwana Alfred, tuambie mambo ya down under.
Huku tuko salama. Hatuna neno, tunang'ang'ana tu. We're just doing away with summer. We're going to autumn and then winter. And I think what stood out over the week was the issue with the accidents. It's quite unfortunate that we lost quite a number of Kenyans over the week. My sincere condolence to the families, friends, and their loved ones. And of course, I hope Kipchumba will focus on the roads. I was seeing a lot of people, we miss Michuki. And definitely we do, because alikuwa na mtu ya kusema if things would happen, he would action. Sijui kama ni maneno ya it's something with Kisii. Nilikuwa naona pia maneno ya education when Matiang'i was the minister. He was mtu ya kusema na kutenda. I think we need someone from those sides of Kisii akuja atusaidia kidogo. We've forgotten the Michuki rules. Many of these accidents, others are even, preventable, but because of we are not putting a lot of measures. Nilikuwa naona wametoa NTSA from helping out with the with roads. Now they are bringing them back. There are a lot of confusion on who should be doing what, and I guess Kipchumba should sit down and refocus and get to know what he is meant to do, and put some good measures to help, prevent such. We've lost a lot of Kenyans in regards to such accidents. And of course, niambia wachane na siasa kidogo, naona wanapambana na mwanafunzi wake Cherargei, wachane na siasa kidogo, maneno ya kingpins and whatever. Let him focus on the roads first. So I think those are some things that we need to be discussing on.
Okay.
And he needs to come out of the helicopter and also use those roads.
There you go. Okay.
Alisema maji mbaya ndio inasaidia. By the way, he said those roads that are very bad in the villages are good because they do prevent accidents. So ni kama hata jenga any roads.
Amazing. Good point, Doro. Keja.
Unajua mimi huwa nangoja tu na comments.
Oh, okay. You wanna highlight here?
So there are two things I've highlighted. One thing Alfred has highlighted is the transport responsibility for the country, which is Mr. Murkomen. Mr. Murkomen, unaweza enda kuongea jema airports na kila kitu. But you don't give us the structure of the roads, how they're going. So when it comes to these accidents and everything, I listened to what he talked about in the parliament, but there was no solution. There was no plan. Hawa watu wenye wanapendanga kuuza sijui potatoes na kila kitu saa zile unatoka, watasaidiwaje? Juma gari zinaenda hivi mbio, sijui mabasi nini. When are we gonna have a two-way? Mr. Murkomen, you've been in America and I've taken you to those roads, which are in the cities. Umekimbia, umejua vile these cities. You've been in LA, 6 lanes each, one way. But in your head, you cannot implement that. In your head, Mr. President, I was with you in San Francisco, in your head. How can you make it happen? These accidents are becoming crazy. Zinafanya ujinga sana. All these people who support you don't support you. They just want access. In your heads, Kenyans, in your heads, Mali Nakar, there are 3 ways going one way, 3 ways going backward. Na niko mashambani. Mbona tusitafute one way from Kitale, one way from Turkana, one way from Kericho, so that these accidents can come and get down. Yeah, that is number one. Number two was these arguments with politicians. There's no way you're always going to go to the parliament now to Saidi. which comes up to zoning.
Yeah.
Is there zoning in Kenya? If there was zoning in Kenya, is a way people living on the road, everywhere, can be protected. We tunajaribu kusaidia tunajaribu kusaidia watu ama tunajaribu kusaidia Kilimani na Lavington na kila kitu? Are we helping the big people or are we helping the small people? And I told you, Arama.
Yes.
Yeah, the president, Biden was here today.
Yes.
As I speak, he left like 6 hours ago. He came and he gave, not my country, my state, $3 billion to build chips. So I went and I sat down and I thought, what company has our president done? Me, I'm staying in a state, one state.
So one company.
States picked up this state to build a what? Multi-billion company. So that he can employ 30,000 engineers. Not 30,000 engineers. Biden alianza na Ruto namna hii. What is Ruto doing? Sending people abroad.
Wanakujia hizo 30,000 jobs.
Yeah?
Maybe wanakujia hizo 30,000 jobs.
These are 30,000 professional jobs.
Yes.
Of which they would have done it. Okay, today I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go technical. Environment is the same. Buildings are better in Kenya. Corruption is the difference. We should be building a chip company in Kenya.
Yeah.
Not one, not two, not three. Ukambani, mulikula pesa ya Wakenya. Na mkakula vizuri. Because there's no way somebody like me, the most useless person, can be able to access the American president and access the Kenyan president. Hapo nimewacha.
Okay. Haya. Wacha niende sasa kwa mtu ya serikali. Bwana Mise. Ebu tetea government hapo kidogo. Give us a highlight of the week on your perspective.
Sasa nasikia Bob mtu wa serikali tayari ashaniruka, sijui kama leo ni nini, nani alimtembelea, but good morning everyone. Our viewers. As usual, it's a pleasure to be here to have a conversation. Like I say, this is a show of patriotism by coming here and having conversation regarding the state of our nation. And if through these conversations we can be able to, someone can be able to pick an idea and build on it, that will have been our contribution to the nation.
Yes.
We love the country, and that is why we spend a lot of time to come here and keep this conversation going. So, and Chairman, thank you for, and all the panelists here for creating that time to come and engage us to have this conversation, especially in making sure that the people understand the role of the government, the position of the government, and the progress and the little effort the government is making to ensure that our economy is slowly getting to its feet. Like we said before, the President William Ruto really wanted humble time so that he could roll and execute his mandate as the president and his manifesto, because he has a good plans for our country, and we can slowly seeing him doing so as soon as Baba decided to go PO Box Africa to the AU. So as soon as now he has a good humble space to be able to think about the welfare of our nation, we can see things are normalizing. But that being said, I just wanted to say that our country is getting to when our leaders, our elected leaders, dispense their obligation as part of their job scope of responsibility. Well, we see things being done the right way. I do not want to applaud the Senate for, impeaching the deputy president. I have reservation because this is
deputy governor.
selective.
Deputy president.
The deputy governor. Sorry, the deputy governor. I have a great reservation because this is a selective impeachment that we have seen for some time now. There are a lot of gross misconduct that we have seen from other leaders, but we have not seen the Senate moving swiftly and ensuring that those leaders are out of office. It is to be understood that there is no clear or explicit provision within the Constitution on how to impeach a deputy governor. The Senate relied, or rather the impeachment of the deputy governor of Kisii, His Excellency Dr. Monda, they relied on Chapter 6 of the Constitution, particularly, I think Article Section Article 1, Article 75, the conduct of the state officers. So I think this is a good gesture, but this gesture should not be used selectively, especially to people who are targeted. We want to see this applied. How many members of parliament have been found culpable, have been found wanting, their conduct wanting, and they have not been subjected to the same system? How many members of the Senate, how many members of the judiciary or the executive that have been found in wanting positions or situations but have not been subjected to the same process of being discontinued or disqualified from holding public offices? Because Chapter 6 of the Constitution primarily talks about leadership and integrity.
Yes.
And leadership and integrity provides that every state officer who is holding the office on behalf of the people of the Republic of Kenya must behave in a certain way. And I wanted to actually try to find, if you look at Article 75 of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Section 1, you will see it says that a state officer shall behave whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interests. Any conflict between personal interests and public or official duties. B, compromising in public or official interests in favor of a person, interest, or demeaning the office of the officer holds, or a person who contravenes Clause 1 or Article 76, 77 or 78 shall be subjected to the application of disciplinary procedure for the relevant office and may, in accordance with the disciplinary procedure referred to paragraph A, be disqualified. Now, this is what we want to see across. You know, Patrick Lumumba said, small fish, big fish, and all manner of fishes, they should be fried.
Yeah.
So we want to see them frying this fish as long as they are in contravention of Chapter 6, Article 75 onwards, as it states. So I don't want to think that Monda was rightly disciplined, or rather disqualified. I feel it was subjective. I think he's a victim of circumstance, and I'm not trying to defend him, but we want these presidents to continue to be applied to every civil servant, because they owe us a duty of care. And a duty of care, that means they should care about the welfare of common mwananchi more than they care about themselves. The question of bribe is everywhere. In the office of the vice president, the deputy president, in the office of the president, in every office, the National Police Service, nobody has been fighting corruption. And I'm telling you, I've been arguing with people and saying the economy of Kenya, of the Republic of Kenya, thrives when we allow corruption to take precedence. But when we fight and take corruption from the front line, the economy of Kenya declines. Why shouldn't we do the right things? The recommendations that Cage has put forth, and many of the panelists here, can make our economy thrive. Kenya is a good country that has a good foundation in terms of language. We've got good commanding of English, which is a national language, international language for communication. And I'm sure there are a lot of call centers that we can reach out here and make Kenya a destination, just like Malaysia, India, China, and many other countries. Why not take advantage? Chinese don't speak good English, yet we can have call centers there. Indians don't speak perfect English, yet we can have call centers taken there. Philippines doesn't speak good English, yet our call centers are there.
Yeah.
What is happening with our country?
All right, awesome. So guys, I want to kick off after the highlight. I just wanted to kick off with one discussion, leadership and integrity. Na what your serikali leo, I'm going to put you on the spot. First, let me speak about the incident that happened in Kericho or Rift Valley, for that matter, where some people were heckling the president. One, I believe it's their right to express themselves the best way they can. The one thing that I always stand out and say, when you threaten the safety of a public official, and especially the president's stature of the president, then the rightful action should be taken and the people taken into custody. But when people are expressing themselves and yelling and booing, that is not, in my view, is not grounds for you to order for people to be arrested. So, Bwana Bob, is it a question of you having a skin of a chameleon ama muko na tough skin?
Wacha nipe misi aseme kidogo alafu tarejelea.
Okay. Haya, misi, tuambie hapo sasa.
Unataka nijibu?
Niliambia misi before ajibu hiyo.
Yeah.
Hii serikali ya kutetea around hii bro. Heri ingine sio hii. Hii unajaribu kutetea huko kichwa inaanguka. Unajaribu kustoa mguu inarudi kwa matoka.
Yeah. Haya, Mr. tuambie sasa.
I think this government has shown as a good presidents. This is a government for the first time that has come to the level of the people, and the people should not take for granted that the president is the national figure.
Tafadhali na wale waongee Kiswahili waelewe Kizungu.
The mouthpiece of the Republic of Kenya, the symbol of authority of the Republic of Kenya. When you threaten the symbol of authority, and you go unnoticed, you set a very bad precedence. In
But
law, there's something
nobody
called
was threatening the president. All they did was
there's something called broken window theory.
Yeah.
When you allow certain things to happen in fighting and combating crime, you don't allow certain things happen. That's why you see sometimes when you threaten, go and attack one police officer, they will come, all of them. Why do you think they come, all of them? They try to set a footprint that we still have the authority, we still have the command, and we will not allow. If they allow that to continue, it becomes a behavior and becomes a character. There are many ways. The Constitution is very clear. The Constitution has said in Article 1, it says that power is vested in the people, and the people can exercise it in directly or indirectly. We have leaders. We have leaders who can challenge under Article 150 of the same Constitution. If the president or the government is carrying in itself in a manner that contravenes the provisions of the Constitution, the people can express themselves through Article 150, which actually gives a provision or a guideline on how they can deal with a rogue president. Number two, the people, our politicians are manipulative. Our politicians can just manage even this booing, heckling, just to make a point of illegitimizing the presidency of the sitting president. So sometimes we don't know whether the people who are expressing themselves, or this is a choreographed heckling. So we know that happens.
So, Mr. My question is, and I'm going back to that because this is a dangerous, to me, my perspective, this is a dangerous way of approaching things. As long as nobody took a stone to throw to the president, and remember, the booing was not actually for the president. The booing was for the other politician accompanying the president, including the governor. And there were some things the governor was making statements and other politicians that the people disagreed. So are we saying that now when you say I use other people to express myself, i.e. a member of parliament or a senator, when these people look at the other MP who said publicly, when people said, hey, you voted for this finance bill, and now you are coming here saying that there is a problem, and your defense, Nikwamba, it was too many papers I could read, even pastors have not read the whole Bible. What are you telling us? So how am I going to trust an MP who just goes sits and anafanya acclamation and anasema wacha ipite while I'm suffering over here? So to me, and I don't know if somebody else has the same perspective, a different perspective. If people are, I think to me, I take it as a good indicator to the president that something is wrong. When the people, and especially people who overwhelmingly voted for your government, are coming out and telling you, Mr. President, something is wrong by booing the people who are speaking while you are there, you should take a moment and say, hey, wananchi, wacha tuwe na bunge ya wananchi. Who wants to speak and say what is the problem? And let people speak and express themselves, instead of going back and ordering these people to be arrested. And who are you arresting? How did you identify who booed and who did not boo? Alfred, naona umefungua microphone yako, maybe you have something to say.
I think you have a very good point, Arama. If I have a company,
yes,
and let's say Lanson, and someone or two people comes to me and are complaining about my office manager,
yes,
I will not put them off or say that those are allegations. I will have to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have also to call my office manager to ask what was happening pale kwa ofisi.
Yeah.
And even ask another different party if they've experienced such. Get to the root of that to understand. Maybe the problem is with your people and or your person, and then correct.
Mm-hmm.
rather than saying, oh no, my person is good, and don't say that before me or in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be doing justice to my position, and I'm not be doing justice for my company.
Mm-hmm.
So the president would have said, look, I've heard about it. Let me go and talk to Mheshimiwa, whoever the Raya were, heckling, if it's a governor or senator.
Yes.
Saa zingine we seem not kumpenda Rigiji, but I at some point pale kwa sidelines, Rigiji was talking to some guy who was speaking from the other a very local person from the area. Alikuwa anaongea kwa pande ile ingine ya fence.
Yeah.
And Rigiji stood and listened to him, and that guy expressed himself very well.
Yes.
He told him, shida ni hii na hii, asante umekuja, jameni, enda ita kiongozi fulani na fulani, funga hawa kwa nyumba, piga hawa kiboko, sababu sisi tunataka maendeleo, hatutaki maneno mingi ya kusema nani alifanya nini.
Mm-hmm.
And the Raya himself was talking calmly. Those who are with him walinyamaza, huyo mtu akaongea vizuri, and he mentioned that so and so, by their names were
Yes.
the problem, but for them kama Raya wanataka kazi.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you want to arrest someone who is in need of development in the name of Amekuhekol, and there is a problem already. The problem is existing, and the problem is so and so, but you want to arrest someone who has already identified the issue instead of listening to that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to find that clip. That guy was very articulate, very straight to the point, and very calm when he was presenting it. There is an issue, people are heckling because they are not heard. When they want to be heard, there's a breach in between who to take the message to the president, who to take the message to the authority. Mm-hmm. The only resort that they would have done is do what they were doing. Because at the end of the day, utamfikia wapi,
Yeah, but
so
I also
the message
think
out
this
there
is,
is kuna shida.
Mm-hmm.
but Bwana
Yes.
Chairman, I also think this is selective way of seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
The president, the Senate, does not report to the president. The legislature is an independent arm of government, just like the executive, right?
Correct.
And
Yes.
the judiciary.
Mm-hmm.
So to equal a member of parliament or the Senate wanting that the president to reprimand him, that is actually abusing the process. The Constitution in its wisdom put these provisions in place and gave authority to the people.
Mm-hmm.
Your member of parliament has an office in your local constituency, okay? And your member of parliament should work for you, just like the Senate. The senator has to work for you, just like the county assembly has to work for you. Mm-hmm. So if your member of parliament does not listen to you, you can go to the Senate. If the Senate doesn't listen to you, you can go to the county assembly. So truly, to come to the meeting and cause havoc or try to disrupt the meeting that is rightly held by the president is a show of disrespect, not only to the person who is speaking, but also to the president. So must we use violence to be heard? Must we be going to the streets in order to be heard? Why are we not using these avenues that the Constitution has given us? When the Constitution says that you can directly be represented by, exercise, you can directly or indirectly exercise the powers, it means you can go to court, to the judiciary, and initiate the process if by any chance your member of parliament is not doing it. Why are we not using these avenues? So as much as we want to blame the government, mm-hmm. let us also agree that as a people, as civilians, as citizens, why are we not using the avenues that are clearly marked for us to express ourselves?
Okay. All right. Alfred?
Uh-huh. Government operates like a company. The IT department operates independently. The HR independently. The executive directors independently. But at the end of the day, we have biannual or annual or quarterly meetings, and we all meet to talk about the success of the company, right?
Yeah.
We all bring our thoughts together to say, look, our department achieved this and this. Kulikuwa na shida hapo. You report to the executive or the boss. Even though you are from from IT, you report to the director or the owner of the company. That is exactly how government operates. And you are a lawyer. You should also state that the same constitutions gives authority and to residents to heckle, to piga makelele, to go for demonstration. And that is exactly what they were doing. They were demonstrating in that manner. You have the okay to demonstrate if you are not feeling the person who is meant to take your message to the president is not performing. If the president came down to campaign for that person under his party, so you have to also kulia mbele yule mtu alikuja kukupatia huyo mtu. Some of these leaders were planted onto us. Na unaona sisi sasa hivi tunangoja kiti ya AU hatulalamiki, lakini tunalalamika pia sababu pesa haijafika kwa ule mtu tulipewa. Asante.
Hi. All right. Keja has some questions.
I'm here.
Bob, go ahead.
Okay. Nadhani kuna a lot of supremacy battles ndogo ndogo zilikuwa zinaendelea probably. Wacha tuniweke specific reference to hiyo kesi ya Bomet, haikuwa Kericho.
Yeah.
So ilikuwa ni issue ya between na Kiplogo ni Isaac Ruto. Isaac Ruto ni culprit wa hii kitu. He does it every single time. He has always been bitter about it. Because that is a specific problem yenye ilikuwa inatokea. Ni issue ya siasa. It was politics. Sidhani kulikuwa na kuna maendeleo hujatufanyia ndio tumekuja kuweko. No. The moment Kiplogo alisimama, then reaction ya crowd ilikuwa different. Unaona? Kunaweza kuwa na so many underlying issues inaendelea. But let us address the real issue ilitokea. What was the real problem? The real problem ni issues ya Isaac Ruto na Governor Barchok. Unaona? Siku ile Laboso alikuwa, the same problem ilikuwa. You know. So Isaac Ruto has been doing the same thing time and again. I don't know why tunakaa ni kama tumekuwa surprised all of a sudden that watu wamefanya hivi. You know, it's normal. I mean, it's been happening. It's just ni bad habits ya viongozi. You know, etiquette ya viongozi mbaya. But all in all, Kenya tunasema ni in as much as kuna hizi etiquettes mbaya zinafanyika na hawa viongozi, watu wetu pia wanafaa kuwa tuko na, you know, I think nini unakuja William amekuja lazima tumuonyeshe ya kuwa Isaac Ruto ndio kiongozi hapa. You know, it's just stupid politics. You know, and I think our people are now falling into bad habits. You know, just trying to appease huyu mwanasiasa mwingine ni kumasaji ego ya mtu. Man, people need to learn better. So politicians also need to have some etiquette when it comes to such issues. You know, and I'm sure Pia, there are very good ways of addressing issues. Okay, tukihekol, and then is anything solved? Okay, after heckling, then what next? What next?
So Bob, let me
heckle. What next?
Let me ask you this question because I'm heckling to get your attention to say we have a problem. So if you don't give me an option to or an avenue to express, because one, like you have rightfully appointed, there is a problem with some of the politicians in that local area. But the Mwananchi's perception ni kwamba the person we put in office is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And then you come in front of the president and say the
Arama.
way everything is okay
Arama.
and we are
Arama.
in paradise in this area.
Arama.
Hold on,
Okay.
Bob. Hold on. So the people are like, hey, bwana, wewe unasema hapa kila kitu ni sawa lakini sisi hatuna chochote. So they heckle you. Because this heckling has not just happened in Bomet. It has happened in several places in central Kenya also. My biggest challenge and what I was taking exception is the reaction of once again, and I go back to the same thing that I've said before. The president has good intentions and has a vision he wants to implement. The problem is his foot soldiers who are supposed to rally and understand the vision and execute on that vision are not doing it. When the person of Kindiki, who is not only the CS of Interior, also a distinguished lawyer, stands in a public forum and orders the arrest of the people who are booing. First of all, who are you who are you arresting? Second, for you to be arrested, to be taken to court, there has to be a complainant. So is the president going to sign the complaint and say, I was heckled and this person needs to go to court? Of course not. So you are going to waste resources for the police. You're going to make the police be hated. Two, you're putting a citizen in jail for expressing themselves. My question is not even about heckling. We may have a problem with that, and I can agree with you. We may need to change our habits and ways of implementing things. But when you have politicians who take advantage of people, and the only time they come and speak nice to you is during campaigns, after that they go back and start reaping back the money they have put in place. That's where we have a problem. But to me, I also want to see it as an opportunity for the president to say, hey, the last time I was here, these people walieka chini kama matawi ya nini ile, like the one for Jesus. They put leaves all over the place. They welcomed me. They were dancing. They were happy because they look forward to me being in office to help them. Now I've come back to thank them or to see what is happening in their area. And the first thing they're doing is booing because they have never had that access. So the question will be, what is the problem? Even if the president doesn't speak right there and then, why don't you send some of your representatives to come and talk to these people and say, guys, wacha tukue na bunge ya wananchi hapa. Shida iko wapi? Because I'm giving you this example because personally, myself,
yes,
where I come from, Molo, Kuresoi, our MP there, the people who voted him, yeah, they have literally chased this guy from public meetings several times now. Because the guy has been misbehaving, he doesn't listen to the wananchi when they have problems, he gives empty promises, and he's busy fighting wars that is affecting people even in Nakuru Hospital saga. So now, these are the problems we have.
Joel.
But the president, who is the leader of UDA and the Kenya Kwanza government, on the political party itself, if he does not listen to the people who put him in office, it is going to be chaos. Okay. Sema.
Now you see where the problem is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You see where the problem is.
Yes.
The problem is on the foot soldiers.
Yeah, exactly.
Where a politician will come and want to incite wananchi so that he might get some form of a recognition. Nipe dakika moja. Okay, right, just a minute.
Okay.
You know, where the politician will come and then anataka kupata recognition.
Yeah.
Now, it's because of their selfish interests. You know, they have not. There's nothing in place of mwananchi, and it all goes to etiquette. When you look at these politicians, they stink.
Yeah.
Their habits stink. They just unataka kuboom mtu mwingine, but haujafanya wananchi wa express dissatisfaction kwa vitu yenye wanakosa. Unaona? Instance kama ya Murkomen na Cherage, unataka kukimbia Nandi.
Yeah.
Na hauja address issues ya airport, hauja address issues ya barabara. Yani wewe ni slay queen. Unataka tu tukuone hapa. Kwani unafikiria wewe ni nani? You know.
Yeah.
Unaona? Unajaribu
That's a good one.
You know, and it's so annoying. I love this government to death. I would naitetea. But sitakubali tunaangalia kabisa ukiona president na deputy president. Good. I mean, there's so good intentions. You see people who are working hard, trying to create connections, trying to do what? Trying to create programs that will help the lower level of the lower level of the pyramid.
Yes.
And then you have these nincompoops up here wenye unataka tukupigie wewe kwenda unafikiria ni nani bana? Man, and it annoys me. The president should be more assertive about it. You know, he should be more assertive. And I agree, honestly. He should put his foot down and be like, "Hey, dude, munanisumbua kichwa. You are not doing what is supposed to be done.
Go home.
If you guys are not ready to do this, man, napali huko bana, enda huko Mbubuta anza kupanda miti bana. Chunga forest. You know." So that is my feeling, you know. Okay. The president, the top hierarchy inafanya vizuri. Hapa chini iko shida.
Okay.
Yeah. But you see, Bob, this is not, William Ruto is not an exception, or rather Kenya is not an exception. If you read the history of Muammar Gaddafi, same situation. The top, they had very good intention. If you read Fidel Castro, the same. The top people, they had good intention. But that being said, though, my problem with the people of the Republic of Kenya is that we shouldn't, first of all, the president receives briefing every morning, security reports. So prior to visiting that area, most likely the president has received intelligence reports, what is happening. And I can tell you that kind of attitude can cost the people. When I was young, I think I was in grade 4 or so. I was in grade 7, and the president of the Republic of Kenya was Moi then. He came to Nyamira, and we had a member of parliament, very educated and had good commanding of language. His name was Henry Obocha. So this guy, I remember him telling the president, when he addressed the president, I've never forgotten his words in verbatim. He said, "Your Excellency, sir, we honor the presidency, but not you. My names are Henry Onyancha Obocha, Simba, Ford, Kenya, Simba." And the people, Nyamira has been in opposition since inception. And the Moi was seated there. He just looked at the Henry Obocha, and when he stood to speak, he said 2 things. He said, "Nyinyi, the Abakusi people, mnaniangalia na jicho moja na wangalia na macho mbili." He said that, "Kijanangu Obocha, unaweza kuja hapa ukaongea vizuri, ukasema yale unasema, na utaona matrakta zikikuja hapa na wakati mwingine utaona zikiondoka." And to be honest, those days when the president was coming around, you would see tractors coming ahead, the roads being prepared, And as soon as the president left, those proposed projects that were there, that were to be rolled out, disappeared. And to date, Nyamira is so backward when it comes to development and benefiting from the national resources, because we chose to stay in opposition, opposing anything and everything. So that is why we have to look at and imitate the Luo community. The Luo community has mastered the art of talking to the president, and in speaking to him in a way that he can influence development to the region. Unfortunately, that is not how it should be, but that is how it is now. You see now Gladys Wanga, a very close ally of Baba, Akina Orengo, Akina Moses Kajwang Jr., and so on. You can see now Homa Bay, Siaya, those are now the tourist destination because of good infrastructure that has been influenced by ensuring that they are in good books with the president. Every person, humanly, when you are in position of authority, anyone who opposes you, there is that human in you that comes out to exercise your authority in punishing the people. So for me, I would say that we should tone down. We should tone down and know when to play politics and know when to show our authority, and for the best interest of our people, put our self-interest aside and advance the interests of our people, because our people comes first, because they gave us that opportunity to represent them. Are you telling me the way Gladys Wanga relates with the president, has her allegiance been drifted from Raila to Ruto? Perhaps no. Perhaps it's just circumstantial. So we should take away our ego, our sense of self-importance, our wanting to to communicate a message to the president, just like Bob says, that supremacy context, just that at the expense of your people. So we should put that aside and put our people first. If we do so, we can't see this kind of nonsense. And then there's something Alfred said. Yes, the people have the right to express themselves. Must it be on that day? Must it be on that day that the president is there? Or must it be through heckling? You know, it's peaceful. The Constitution is very clear. It's you demonstrate peaceably. So that is what I wanted to actually emphasize, that we, the people, have the role, and we have to play by it and ensure that we shouldn't just point fingers to the president or our leaders. When our leaders fail us, we can rise to the occasion. We don't have to be violent when we are rising to the occasion.
Okay. All right. Doro, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Wow. Today, I actually almost 100% agree with Mise.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I do. And he has said a lot. He has actually made a lot of sense. Tunapeleka historia inaitwaje? History of heckling and fighting and everything.
Yes.
When the two top people, which is Baba and Ruto, are basically shaking hands and agreeing on things, we really can't be heckling. Another thing that was said here that I needed to respond to is, yes, Rigiji. Rigiji was one very, very misunderstood person. And me personally, last year around the month of May, someone who is very, very close to him, and of course a close friend of mine, tried to convince me that this guy has a good heart. You need to get to know him. I was like, did not even want to think about it. But this man actually has a heart of gold. And that's based on how I've seen. He has a loose mouth that doesn't help him, but he does have a heart of gold. And as wananchi, especially now that Baba is going to go to AU, we really have nothing to fight for. We really, really need now to push our president that Rigiji asisahaulike. Because as much as I was questioning everything. I was even questioning Ruto. I did not come to terms that, what's his name? Dr. Ruto is our president. But of course, I've come to terms with it. I'm kind of seeing what plan he has in his head. He's not relaying it out very well. He has a very, very weak team. Say loudly. He has a very, very weak team, starting from Mudavadi going downwards. But him and Rigiji, these two people, before they got in there, they had a plan of fixing things. I'm seeing pieces coming out, but they have to fire the whole cabinet in order for them to work, to make whatever their dream was to work for us Kenyans. So that cabinet is very weak. I'm sorry, I can't pick and choose. When I just start looking from education, roads, they just called him a slay queen here, which technically that's what he is. A slay queen who is flying up the sky and ajui hata barabara ajui hizo bumps ziko aje. Sijui kama amewahi pita hapo Bomet asikie vile hizo bumps zinakurusha juu. I don't think he knows that. Yeah. So the whole team really needs to be fired. And that's starting from the chief, what do we call him? Chief cabinet minister. Going down. All those people need to go home. Waeke ofisi, waeke watu wapya. I'm not sure about the PSs, but if the CSs are weak, then the PSs are weak too.
So Doro, who do you blame that for?
Of course, it's the president. He picked a wrong team. He picked a weak ass team that he was trying to impress the people that stood with him during the elections. You can't do that. The president needs to know that he's on his own. If Kenya fails, he's the one who answers.
Yes.
It's him who answers. So if I was him, The same day alifungia, ni nani wale walifungiwa kwa meeting? Was Slay
Moses
one of
Kuria.
them?
Moses Kuria was one of them.
Was Slay there? I thought he was.
I don't remember. The one I remember distinctly was Moses Kuria.
Moses Kuria. Yeah, he needs to fire them all. Wako tu na midomo wanataka kuonekana. I watched an interview today where the Minister for Health, the CS for Health,
yes,
was talking a lot of bullshit. Excuse my language on air.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to shake her. Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how are you on that seat and not me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can answer that question better than you did.
Yeah.
Like it's more of ego. All these people are just very egotistical, and we are paying as Kenyans. Mm-hmm. So the president needs to fire these people, all of them. And if he doesn't have the language, he can hire some of us who have the language to fire people. We can fire for them just for a small check.
Yeah.
To to go home, you have not done anything, go home. Another team is coming in. That's all that needs to happen so that Rigiji and the president can, we don't know, maybe this is their last term. Honestly, for the first time, I'm hoping it's not, but this is their last term. By the time 2027 in Africa, kitu imefanyika, something has happened. Or if they continue to 2032, they will be put in the books as the best president and vice president ever. Saizi waendelea kunyemelea kina Machogu, sijui kina nani, kina kina Kuria, hiyo ushenzi yote, nothing is going to happen. Kina Aisha Jumwa, I don't even know how she's there. Isielewi kabisa. Asante sana for now.
Just to add on that, I just saw an article today or a statement online that the CS for Health actually marched into one of the hospital operating theater without, scrubs or anything, and marched in just to prove a point that the doctor strike is not on. Endangering the patient who was being operated on, endangering the environment, and just to go to show you the point that some of these people are actually doing things reactionary, not even thinking through what are you doing? How does this affect?
She's very ignorant.
Yes. So
ignorant, and I don't even know how she's on a health position. You cannot walk in to a sterile unit, which is the operating room, without being scrubbed. Even I, as a nurse with scrubs, I just can't come from an unsterile room and just walk in there in my scrubs. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So she's very ignorant, very rude, very uninformed. Okay, let me give you an example of a question she was asked today. The doctors are on strike. There's an agreement. I don't know whether they called it CBA or CAB or whatever it is. That is supposed to be renewed. The one that was signed last was between 2017 and 2024.
Yeah.
That's when it's supposed to end. So this is this year, yeah?
Yes.
This year has just started, yeah? You know what answer she gave? Actually, it was supposed to expire in 2021. And then she was asked, where did you come up with the 2021 from? Oh, I meant between 2022 and 2023. I wanted to bust that screen, man. Like, she really doesn't know what she's talking about. And she doesn't understand that these doctors are on strike for a reason. Something needs to be done real quick, or else our patients are going to be endangered. Aelewi, Aniti.
Are we talking about Nakuminja?
Yes.
Nakuminja, whatever she is. It's sad.
I think to our defense, this is one of the best
please don't defend that.
Leader
don't defend that brain, please.
That William Ruto has had, who has actually articulated the policy, the health policy on how it's, and do not underestimate her. Her background is also in healthcare. Don't forget that.
No. Listen, you're coming in with the underestimating. I'm not underestimating her. I'm using common sense.
Yeah, but you see,
Since we're in a crisis, the doctors are on strike, and then you come and answer a question. If I don't know something, if I'm in her place and I'm asked a question and I don't understand it, I will say, I'm going to do research, I'll get back to you. I'm not going to display my ignorance in front of the whole country that's depending on me to make a decision for these doctors to get back and work.
I agree with you, but while I'm disagreeing with you, when I come to your work of place, it is your responsibility to guide me on what the protocol is. So if you are afraid,
Mr. Sorry, you're contradicting yourself. You say she has a background.
Look, we are using the standards that we have here that we must adhere to. When people back home in most of these hospitals, even doctors themselves, they don't follow those
scrub room. Not in a scrub room. No, you have to scrub before you go to theater. You have to scrub.
Let me tell you, I got an accident in Kenya, and I was taken for, stitch, about 24 stitches here. And this was a senior doctor. I don't know what they call them in Kenya, but when this guy came to
Kunishona, you can be a lawyer. You can be a lawyer. Makes sense.
hang on. Wakati this guy came Kunishona, I was disappointed because of the standards that I expected because of the expectation I had for him as someone who has been in practice. There's a lot of negligence, not only from non-health.
So you're accepting negligence.
Okay, let me tell you this. Let me correct you as a healthcare professional.
Can we also look at the role of Nakumincha and the contribution in terms of healthcare policy vis-a-vis looking at what she's human, she can make a mistake, but when you get to the hospital,
can you ask those questions?
No, listen, let me tell you, you're contradicting yourself.
Because you guys are not giving me time to express myself.
Give him time. Okay.
Did we see anyone, a staff from that hospital, giving her the scrub and then she disregards wearing it? Did anyone come out and say that? If
Hold on, mister, let me answer you.
Answer me.
A couple minutes ago, I'm going to answer you there. I'm getting to that point. You said that she has a healthcare background. Anybody with a healthcare background, and I'm talking from below to the top, knows that you cannot walk into a theater room without being scrubbed. Common sense. So that means she doesn't have any background. She has a stupid ego. Sorry.
And then, Mr. Let me come from this perspective also. Remember, we have one challenge in Kenya that when mkubwa anakuja, even though you know something is wrong, nobody's going to stand up and speak out because I'm fearing I will get fired.
That was my argument.
Yes.
That was my argument.
That would be because for me personally, yes, you may have a point and you are trying to show something, but once again, the thinking through of trying to show something is missing because you can't walk into a sterile room endangering somebody's life just because you want to show people there is no strike. Once again, there could have been better ways for you to do that. You could have walked through the wards and after the operation and see how many people have been operated on, how the operation in the hospital are still ongoing, talk to people and get a different perspective. My biggest challenge with any of these CSs, even with Murkomen after the accident of KU, look at the statements he was issuing. Look at the conflict now that is arising between NTSA and the Matatu Association. They are saying, no, we don't want NTSAs on the road because they caused problems before. Now they're going to cause problems again. There is no thinking through before you make a pronouncement. Same thing that happened when Jomo Kenyatta Airport was having problems with the runway, the rains, when the roofs were collapsing because of water and all that. Even those things, to me, that's the biggest challenge with these people who what I call food soldiers have been put in place by the president to actually implement what is supposed to be done the right way. And it's not that these people are ignorant. They are well-learned people who know some of the processes, and if they don't, we have the Kenya School of Government. Go get some training, then come back and implement these things. To me, these are the biggest challenge, because at the end of the day, you cannot come and have an issue and then the way you respond. Another example, Alan Duale just went to Parliament, the people who he's supposed to report to and tell them issues. He's being asked a question, how did the defense spend 135 billion? Was it 135? I think so, or around that number. And he says, I can't tell you because security reasons. These are people who are supposed to get that briefing. That is their job. They cannot decide on how, they cannot give an audit or cannot give a report whether the government is spending money the right way or not. When you claim top secret for 130 billion or whatever amount of money that was. At the end of the day, once again, to me, the challenge is, and I wish, because one of the questions that I ask at this point is, does the president and the deputy president think of what their legacy is going to be after this? What is your legacy? Are you just going to be business as usual from the previous administration, or are you going to make a difference that people can look back and say, we have an example? We always talk here and everybody can quote and say Michuki rules.
Yeah, that is lacking from our leaders.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yeah.
There's no goodwill. There's no goodwill.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But then I also wanted to tell Nani, my sister Doro, that yes, Susan should know better. You know, she is someone who has a healthcare background. She should know better that by so doing, you are endangering someone's life. But also, when a person of caliber gets to the hospital, the top management is involved as well to know, or whether it's an impromptu, whenever they appear, the top management must be there. Where is that hero?
Take the caliber word off. Nakumichi is just, she has a job just like everybody else.
Yeah, but she holds a government position that is not just any other government position.
But it doesn't matter. Those positions, when you worship positions, that's how these people become slave queens. Don't worship these positions.
No, those positions are there for a reason.
They're there, but we are gonna worship you.
Doro, I got your back.
We're gonna worship you after you show us what you can do. Then I can call you Mheshimiwa. No. I'm a nurse. You know why? Yes, I'll be respected as a nurse. You know why? I go in and do the little portion of work that I'm supposed to do to make sure my patients are okay and they're safe. But I cannot be called the minister for health. I am not doing my job. Na mwanza kuni worship. Those positions don't matter. Everybody, it's a job. Some jobs are bigger than others.
No. Let me ask you, Simon. Hold on. I'll even come into this. What is your profession? And in your profession, I know you did not even reply. But in your profession,
who are you asking?
Missy, you.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess,
so. In relation to what? In relation to what? What is my?
Yeah, in relation to your perfectionness. Do you fail people?
Do I fail people? I'm a human being. I can fail. Tell me any perfect person who has not made any mistake.
No, but even if you fail, you tell them this is where I failed.
No, sometimes you have to weigh when you are relaying the message to the people. What is the condition of this person? Who knows better? If
relax. You are
a client who is
I know
depressed.
your profession. Yes, you have a plan and everything, but there's some people you fail, right? Yes or no?
Intentionally or unintentionally?
Both.
Yes.
Yes, you do. So you choose what to do for the better of the community. So why don't you let especially Kenyan world and you choose, why don't you choose for the Kenyan world? Why don't you choose for the Kenyan society?
I don't get it. I'm here because I love that society. It's now 2 a.m. and I'm here because I am contributing and I'm choosing to that society.
Yep.
Right?
But you choose. Umegonga mara ngapi Kenya?
No, my argument with
no, hold on. No, it's not your argument. I'm telling you. Do you choose?
You're not complete. You're not completing your words, Keja.
Yeah.
The thing is here.
Do you choose to use, or do you choose to support the Kenyan community at large?
They have to be supported. That word support makes me.
Hold on, my dear.
Before I forget, Doro, Doro, you rubbished the position thing. In your area of practice, you have I don't know, here in Canada we call them registered practical nurses and registered nurses. Okay?
No, hold on. I'm talking to you. Missy, I'm gonna talk to you. With her, she has a choice. Either to make somebody live, either to make somebody live or somebody die. But in our profession,
no, she doesn't have that choice.
Yeah?
She doesn't have.
No, I don't have a choice. I don't have. My choice is to make sure someone lives. If they die,
you have to give the best care. Yeah.
Yes.
You're obligated to give the best care. If the person dies, then that's a different. But you cannot choose for someone to die or live. That express way to
do your best. In many professions, you do your best.
She's a nurse. She's a nurse. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you do your best.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do your best. So are you doing your best?
Let me tell you why.
Hold on.
Where we're. Hold on, Keja. Let me talk.
My dear, hold on. Are you doing your best, Missy, or you're making choices?
Bonachia, can I be protected? Can I be protected here?
Yes.
Can I say something?
I wanted to emphasize there is an approach that I wanted us to demystify.
Yes.
Roy is right. But we first of all, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Oh, absolutely.
And that was our argument earlier on.
Yes.
What I disagree with that is that we cannot rubbish positions. If I go to the
You're missing my point, Missy. You're missing my point. You're missing my point.
Can I be protected to be able to make my point first?
Okay. Let him finish.
If I make an impromptu visit to Kenyatta National Hospital, nobody will recognize that I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay? So if the president or any other government official at their capacity or in the position, they go there, there is a likelihood that there are plans and there's procedure on how they go to their office and how they get access and so on.
Yes.
So I was asking a question while we fault, and I agree that there's no reason as to why someone who has a healthcare background, who has been trained by Kenya Medical Training College, he has no reason as to why she should go to a theater room without wearing the proper attire in that room. I totally agree with that. But at the same time, where is that hero in that hospital who came up with the right attire and said, Your Excellency or Madam CS,
you can't go without this.
Here, you can't go past here without wearing this. Where is that hero? We should always look at issues from two sides of the coin.
Okay.
That is my argument.
Okay, let me say something here, first of all. Inflate people like balloons before they even get these positions. Mise will come out here and say he wants to run for MCA or MP. We start calling him Mheshimiwa. That mheshimiwa will run its course, still Mise loses the seat, okay?
Yeah.
And still, we'll be calling him mheshimiwa. So this upsets me. Even in funerals or events, somebody's trying to, okay, let's assume we have 20 waheshimiwas, John, James, Mary, A, B, C, D. If I have to use the word mheshimiwa, I'll say waheshimiwa, John, James, Kiango, everybody. Wote. I'll say waheshimiwa and say all those names. But you're there, a microphone. Mheshimiwa so and so. Mheshimiwa so. Don't you? There's no factor for time. The word mheshimiwa itself is very long.
And on top of that,
and then these waheshimiwas are doing nothing. Hold on. No. Let me tell you, and I'll explain. And first of all, the word is very long. And you do 20 muheshimiwas with the names, and they have maybe to stand and wave, and some of them have to come and hold the microphone. They eat up time. And 90% of the time is these muheshimiwas have done nothing. My grandmother's funeral, which was just 10 days ago, muheshimiwas came. I'd already given a directive where muheshimiwas, if they have to talk, it has to be our MP and the MCA. I didn't know I was putting the MCA in trouble. And they're talking for a minute. Our MCA is not liked by my home.
Yeah.
Na ushenzi zake mbili mbili. Pigiwa kelele na watu, you have to defend him, take the microphone off and just sit him down.
Yeah.
Later on, he comes to my dad's house. My dad is like, okay, why don't people like you? What is going on? So he's carrying this name Mheshimiwa, walking around inflated all over, but he has done nothing to the community. And we're there giving him that name. A few years ago, 2014, I was given a contract by the Uhuru government, okay, to feed people who had come. There were waheshimiwas and, the waheshimiwas were not really part of my contract. It was the artists who came. But then the governor of Kisii at that time, Ongwae, had some waheshimiwas from his county who came. This is a true story. And those waheshimiwas were not catered for in the whole national government thing. But they were there because they were to welcome some big stone that was coming from Kisii County to come there, which never made it. So they are there eating these per diems that they're given. Pesa mingi sana. That's how I saw county money being wasted. So Ongwae requested me to add them on the contract, like feed them, like additive, and I was going to be paid, yeah? I had them. So when he was introducing me to them, do you know there's this lady? God, I think about it and I want to die. When she told me, I told her my name is Doro, and she told me I am honorable. She was shrugging. She said, I'm honorable. So I looked at her like, okay, I just told you my name is Doro. So you're honorable who? She told me, I'm not going to say her name here. She's not honorable anymore. But that is how these people are inflated to a point where when they bought suitcases, one day I went shopping with them. It was a holiday. Went shopping with them. They bought these expensive suitcases because they have all these per diems in dollars, man, $100 bills.
Yeah.
Bought big suitcases. Now when they're labeling them to go to the airport, guess what? Lazima mtu aweke honorable. You know, it made me lose the taste. Let me tell you, I am going to rule Kenya one day in any capacity. The first thing I will tell the people I'm working for, please, hiyo jina mheshimiwa sitaki. Kabisa, musiniite. No. And I'll tell them. No, and it's not hate. Let me tell you, don't get used to being called by this name. No, and I will take it. Sitaki niitwe hiyo jina. Na bado sijawaonyesha chenye nina. It's a title, but
what's your title? No. What's your title on your badge right now?
Let me tell you.
Guys, just remember one thing. The title honorable is actually supposed to be used within the parliamentary precinct. Once you get outside,
not out there.
Once you get outside, you are Mr. or Mrs.
Mimi ni mheshimiwa. It pisses me off. I see people on Facebook calling themselves honorable. I get pissed off, and they were just watarajiwas. Even this honorable, how do I go open a Facebook account and put myself as honorable? Hiyo kitu inatakiwa iwachwe kabisa, because it's inflating these people's brains. Wacha nionge, nilinyamaza sasa, hilo uliomba permission uchungwe. We are inflating these people, and they're not doing their jobs. They just want to run around like this one who has been called a slay queen, run around wakipanda mahelikopter, zingine karibu zianguke.
Zilianguka
kazi. Kazi, we're just inflating them. Yani tunawapump tu, hemuhesh, kichwa inaendelea kuwa kubwa, wanasahau kazi, wanaanza kutuibia. That is exactly what is happening, and we need to stop. Hii kuitaita kwanza watarajiwa, ati mheshimiwa mtarajiwa. Those are two very big long words. Zinachukua time in whatever speech we are using. Mheshimiwa mtarajiwa, that is a few seconds. 30 seconds have gone.
Well, that's a lot of time. Hi guys, let me
Bwana mwenyekiti,
yes.
There is tukiangalia Doro sahi kwa baji yake ya kazi, imeandikwa probably RN or something like that. The problem is not the title. It is what she uses the title for, what she does with the title. You know, when you are a member of parliament, you are a member of parliament either by actions and what you represent when you are at the assembly, at the National Assembly, or you are there because you are there just because for a paycheck. So at the end of the day, this honorable Nani, I see why Doro is upset. But there are also people who have done good job. You know, like look at Babu Wino. In fact, despite of her shortcomings here and there, when you go to Embakasi, her constituency, his constituency, he's done a good job, you know, and you can see that he's working for the people. So Muheshimiwa, just like also when Doro is taking away that, also take away watu wanaitwa wakili. Kwa nini watu wanaitwa wakili ama lawyers or learned friends? Now go to Kenya. You will be surprised and disgusted with what.
Can you give me a minute?
You will be disgusted. You will be disgusted by.
Mute
You will be
Keja, man.
disgusted by. Yeah. You'll be disgusted by watu ambao wanaitwa wakili, watu ambao wanaitwa learned, by what they do. If you look at their actions, you will ask yourself, are you learned, friend? Right? Unaitwa senior counsel. But when you look at what his actions, his practice in private and in public, you are disgusted by it. So for me, I will ask the same. Engineers, pharmacists, all these prefix, right? They have to go by the prefix must be accompanied by the actions.
Yes.
Right? Because if you are a doctor, a physician, what are you doing with your knowledge and the prefix that you have? To me, that's the way I look at it. There are good people who are actually honorable by what they do. There are people who are not in the position of leadership, but they are honorable through their actions. There are people who are pastors, right? But they are evil by their actions. So that's the way I look at it. But I see why Doro is disgusted. Sometimes it can be draining. These positions can also make you lose your family, lose everything that you have because you are investing in the people who do not reciprocate the same.
All right, guys, we need to wrap up the show. Give each one about 30 seconds to a minute to give your final thoughts, final comments, and then we wrap up. Who wants to go first? Ama mnataka nianze kuita majina tena?
I can go first.
Okay.
Mimi nitaanza ama Bob anze. Bob
Keja anza. Yeah.
Keja afungue kamera.
Yeah.
Keja afungue kamera tumuone.
Keja afungue kamera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mnataka nifungue kamera kwa nini? Nikifungua kamera Bob utafungua kamera. Okay, so this is the thing. I think this has been a very interesting conversation. And the one thing, Doro, camera.
I can hear you.
Video.
No, siwashi camera.
Atiwashi camera. Ndio basi umenyamaza. Okay. These have been a good conversation, but the one thing I want to challenge when it comes to health and when it comes to programs that are related to growing Kenya, I don't know why the two people, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, don't come together to grow the country. And the reason why I'm saying this, and I think we talked about it, in this America, they have put 30 billion to build a chip factory. Lakini Kenya, tunapatiwa 30 billion kupanda nini?
Miti. Okay.
Yeah, so to me, that was the most disappointing thing. And when it comes to growth and health, Nata vile Dora Mongia, I can't put anything else on it. Yeah, but to me, it is very funny that a first country can put that kind of money, invest on themselves to make that kind of money to help their people.
Yeah.
Lakini sisi wa Kenya bado tuna nini? Bado tunaomba.
Oh, nilidhani umetuita first country nikashangaa maze.
No, first country ni sisi.
Sio sisi. We cannot be. Sisi ni third world.
Sisi ni third world. Bado tunaambiwa tupande miti ya 30 billion. Lakini hawa watu wanapanda 30 wanatengeneza plant. Yote ni nini? They are planting. They're planting.
Yeah, technically, yes.
Yeah, they're planting 30 billion. We are planting 30 billion. But our loss cause was what? Our loss cause we are planting 30 million trees. They're planting 30 million. They've invested in $30 million to do the best so that it can help the rest. So to me that was fascinating. Alafu ile kitu utasema hiyo vita ya Kisii.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hiyo vita ya Kisii, trying to figure out if it was personal or Simba had to just make it happen.
There's no personal there. 99% of Kisii County agree with that decision. So we're good. It was wrong.
So, yeah. So to me, for deputy governor, especially being picked up by a governor who's running for government, for him to do that, you have to be very bold. Very, very bold. So I wonder, ni wangapi wengine? Ni wangapi wengine wako hiyo position?
Mrs. Point, yes.
Yes, in that position to be like, hey, I'm deputy governor, I can neza gonga hawa watu hivi.
Watashika adabu saizi,
Very sad
wamerudi,
story.
wamekunja mkia saizi, wamekunja mkia, hawawezi fanya.
No, ni
Follow an
wengine.
example.
Kuna wengine wanakuja pia. I'm like, yeah, because the worst part is you as a deputy governor, you have to be responsible in some kind of way, and you have to be educated. That's why they pick you. Yeah, ni kama wanakuja na nichukua, okay, wewe pengine umekaa US. Awache nikuweke hii. And then it reminds me that story of the governor of was it Turkana or Pokot? The guy who was very smart and never had. Do you know, like before this, there were 2 governors who never had deputy governors because the 2 of them were living out of Kenya.
Yeah, one of them was here in the US.
Yeah, one of them was here in the US.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and then there's another one. So you wonder why they pick out those governors who are not around. Yeah, so it is, there are so many questions about it. Yeah, kumbe magavana wote and deputy governors they're just, where can we start? The one thing I can pray for Kenya is integrity.
Yes.
Integrity. The only place I can pray for Kenya is integrity. If you have lawyers like me, say, integrity tapotea, because they always give you an excuse.
Lakini hujasema poa.
Leo
Kenya amekuweza mise.
Yeah, lakini he needs to withdraw this. I'm not in any leadership position. Doro knows that, and I think this is because largely Doro chose me over him, and so he's just
he's retaliating.
He's getting back at me because of Doro. Doro has pronounced herself. She's okay. Let her decision prevail, please.
Haya, wacha tuone kwa bwana tufunge show. Tutoa hapa before Kenya alipue kila kitu.
Integrity. That's what I say.
Keja anachoma, zima microphone yake.
Keja kwa namba mbaya, zimeni microphone ya Keja. Ndio tupate time ya kuongea.
Yeah.
So I think just like tulianza mapema and we said I think hii serikali inaangushwa sana na tabia mbaya ya leaders both kwa executive na kwa legislation. And I think it's the best time we need to rewrite and see how etiquette is applied kwa these government institutions. There's something Mrs. said, and na sijui kama watu walipay attention, that Luo Nyanza wame perfect the art of not just clapping to leadership, but accepting when the president comes around, and wamejua jinsi ya kutengeneza, kujiprepare vizuri kureceive Kenya na receive kutoka kwa serikali.
Yeah.
And I hope the whole country will stand to the same. That every time we have leadership around, let us not just heckle for the sake of heckling. Let it make sense. People need to give memorandums. People need to be, lazima tukuwe na civility so that deliverables zikuwe zina happen. And finally, my case bado itaenda kwa CS roads. The solutions to Kenyan roads is not in the air.
Yeah.
The solution to Kenyan roads is on the roads.
Yeah.
That is it.
Sorry.
You know.
Leo Bob amekuja.
And it's not the first time nimeraise the issue na huyu jamaa.
Yeah.
This guy is just a pain.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
You see him talk, you get annoyed.
Does
you see him act, you get
another
annoyed.
Ministry?
Hold on, Bob.
No, it needs to be
When
fired.
are you gonna hope? When are you gonna hope?
Keja, I'm losing my trail of thought because of your heckling.
Yes, Keja is
this
our
guy needs
heckler.
to be civilized.
Hope bado kuna hope.
Keja,
tutatuma Kindiki akutafute.
So
yeah,
I hope there's been so much since Raila alikuwa anasema tutajenga barabara kutoka Mombasa mpaka Busia.
Yeah.
Same story.
Yes.
I hope this will be the government that will implement it the same way they're implementing the housing thing. Because it only needs leadership that is bold and has balls to do it. It only a leadership that will be like, we will no longer sign contracts. We'll no longer talk about it in the manifesto. Let us implement it.
Yeah.
And finally, on the Kisii issue, I hope it will go beyond the Senate and prosecution will start.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
I agree.
You know? And Senate should now prosecute all the cases in a bipartisan way, not like what happened in the previous regime, where every time there was a case that goes to Senate, people had to take sides.
Yeah.
It was either William Ruto's side or Uhuru's side.
Right.
And remember, so much, mtu unge survive depending on numbers.
Yeah.
Ilikuwa Senate. So it was not
depending
productive.
on what song you are singing.
Yes. But this Senate, I want to applaud them.
Yes.
And I hope they'll continue the same way.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the executive says, but whatever Senate decides, it should be, on issues of that.
Yeah.
And we always tell people that this government is going to sort out the issues of corruption. You think we are joking when we say it. Just watch this space. Inaanzanga, unajua mnasema ati Monda is a big fish. Margaret Njuri was a big fish.
Okay.
So big fish wanaanza kukutanishwa pole.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this government will, in the next few years, I'm 100% sure this government will sort out the corruption issue.
Okay.
Maliza nionge.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, Keja. Your turn imeisha.
Alisema 100%.
Yeah, ni sawa.
Keja must respect the government. When the government speaks, Keja must pay attention.
Yeah.
Keja, you had the last word. Why are you yapping? What's wrong with this Keja today? Keja, wacha zima hiyo kitu unavuta.
Ni mbichi inaonekana.
Hiyo ni mbichi, zima hiyo kitu. Gia Waluya ni mbaya.
Haya Doro.
Sasa umemaliza Bob?
Yeah, I'm not. I'll react later.
Mimi ngoja acha niongee hii ya Kisii. Kisii unajua tumesahau the vital culprits. Tunagonga Monda. Na Monda alidanganywa. Hata sijui mzee miaka yake alidanganywa aje. Kuna kamtu kanaitwa Osoro. Ni mwingine mwenye anatakiwa afukuzwe kabisa. Actually anatakiwa afukuzwe na mawe kutoka kwa hiyo parliament.
Yeah.
Sababu hana adabu, walienda wakadanganya, lakini hawakudanganya huyu mzee achukue pesa, walimdanganya akadharau Simba. So yeye na kuna kamwanamke kanaitwa Donya. Huyo women rep wetu. Huyo mimi nilikuwa nangojea Simba amalize 2032 niende nikuwe governor, lakini sasa inaonekana lazima niingie 2027 nipiganishe huyo Donya kwa sababu hana adabu. So those kind of people, they need to look at, because they were very vocal. They were very vocal attacking the governor, who's the president of the county. They were very vocal attacking him, pinning him against the deputy against him. So those people they ningekuwa kwa a position of power, hata wangepigwa viboko chache, ningewasuspend hata mwaka mzima, waluza hata no pay ndio washike adabu. But Kenya is Kenya. So I hope this was not a one-time thing for our Senate to do what they did. I hope ni kitu iendelee and na kuna mahali huyu Osoro alikuwa akipiga kifua, yeye ni rafiki ya president, so the president will sort this out. I wish mngekuwa mnaelewa Kikisi. Wenye mko hapa na mwelewi Kikisi, you would have understood mbona tumejam sisi wa Kisii and why we are okay with everything, because this man and the so-called woman, they were every day chest thumping that hiyo kitu ikifika Senate tutabadilisha tu mambo huko. Walikuwa nadhania the president will actually make a call and change the outcome. Which technically, if he wanted to do that, he could have done it.
But he didn't.
Actually done it, but he didn't. Which is a good show. Ndio hata sijui kama tangu Monda kuwa impeached, Osoro hajaonekana na huyo Donya hawajaonekana. Juu Donya alikuwa amesema atatoa nguo atembee uchi kama nani atakuwa impeached. Sasa Wakisii wanamngojea, wanataka kumtoa nguo. Sijui atatoka kwa street siku gani.
Wanataka kuona Kenya amebeba.
Hata hapa kwa nyumba yangu, baba watoto aliniambia yeye anangojea Donya atoe nguo atume crew yake waende kurekodi. So kuna watu wanamngojea. Anyway, it's not like for the goods that she has. Honestly, to me, she's not even pleasing to the eye because of her mouth. That's how I'm seeing her. You know, your mouth can make you look so unattractive. Sasa yeye amejiweka hapo. Kwa vita za wanaume pali walikuwa napigana wenye, angekaa mbali kama mama. That's what a woman does. Nipate mise na huyu mnapigana na Arama, mnapigana mko na kitu yenu personal, mimi nitakaa kando niwaangalie, siwezi sema chochote. Naweza waambia maze bro poeni, but siwezi ingia katikati nianze kupiga kudishike mise tukupige wewe Arama. I can't do that. A smart woman shuts up, and that's where I'm to let down. So those people needed to be punished in a way, but president amewapatia dawa, maze amewapatia dose. I don't think they'll ever go chest thumping again. The town ni mabeste wa president. The president will do this for them. Atabadilisha vitu. No matter how it was sounding. It was really bad. Yes,
Doro, can I just add you something little? There's something the president said the other day. And I'm still going to the Bomet Kericho issue. And the president said, hata pia Narok akasema, shida yenu nyinyi watu hapa, mtaka tu mkuje mseme vitu enye nyinyi mlifaa kuja mapema ombea wananchi. Mtaka ndio mkuje mseme mbele yangu ndio mpigie tu makofi. You know?
Exactly.
And that tells you of a leader who's pissed off about mediocrity.
Yes.
You know,
ameshiba watu wake lakini ameshindwa
he's tired. Because sometimes I sit down, sometimes I listen to them. And I'm like, so you guys, you think the president doesn't know that you are loyal to him? He knows. And that's what Doroko said, there's nothing honorable about all this, because you just want to waste people's time just to be seen that have attended.
Yeah.
You know, be cut, you're like, oh, if it's just raising your hand, okay, I was here, good, perfect. But now, I think President Asema Vizuri, you're just talking about things so that you be clapped for. Na niko sure ni washenzi wengine, the next meeting wanarudia the same thing. Doro, sorry, continue Doro.
Yeah, so me, and thank you for adding that. Ni ukweli kabisa, because and I keep on saying these, hoping that someone somewhere hears and goes and implements these. Hiyo uheshimiwa hiyo, inatakiwa actually uitwe mheshimiwa. Should be bestowed on you after you've even done half of whatever was in your freaking manifesto. The only people who actually need to be recognized kabisa mwenye tunatakuwa tuko na president, tuko na VP, na tuko na governor. Kila county. Those are the people really literally that need to be identified, kwa sababu we need to know them. Hao wengine wacha wakwe waheshimiwa, tujue MP wetu alitutengenezea barabara, na huyu ni mheshimiwa sana. Tumpatie hiyo title. kila mahali asimame, ajiintroduce, atukane mwingine, wagombane kidogo. You know, wacha nikwambie vile nani aliambiwa, Osoro aliambiwa vile alienda huko kwa Senate ati anaenda kudefend Monda. He went yani he's so entitled to a point where he actually thought he could go there and stand as a Monda's lawyer and represent him. That's a freaking entitlement. Aliambiwa hivi, toka hapa, tunajua shida yako ni Simba Arati, enda huko nyumbani muendelee kupigana naye kwa matanga. Because that's what they do. That's what he does especially. So what is honorable about that? President amemu-let down, amemu-deflate by not doing what he wanted. Me, I'm so happy. Me, I just want to see Osoro, nicheke tu kwa uso yake. And dehonorabilize him. I could do that. But anyway, wacha tuwache tu hivyo. But I hope they get the message. Me, I don't care. Me, I always say it anywhere. I will say it in front of his face if he sits in front of me. And if I get another platform ingine tena nitasema the same thing. Sijali kwa sababu I'm speaking what is true. Wanachoma sana na wanatuharibia, and they are not good examples. So again, if in case the president hears this through our brother Gerald, tafadhali, if he needs someone to fire his cabinet, he can hire me to fire them, then he can fire me. I don't need the job. I just want to come and fire them. They all need to go home.
I have 2 minutes on you. And I think I'm going to take this time to appreciate my big brother, Big Ted.
What's going on?
My big brother, Big Ted, was going back home to Kenya. Kwa hii serikali yenyu amechujwa, anarudi nyumbani. So we're gonna be appreciating him on April 13th. At least, you know, he's a very, very big dude who's done so much stuff.
Where Keja, yeah. Big Ted is my best friend's best friend. Unasikia?
Mimi sijaongea na Keja, unaanza kutuambia hapa nini? Keja bana, shut up Keja bana.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that there. Ule mtu atataka kuongea ataongea.
We have a chair, man.
Chair.
Close the meeting.
Go ahead.
What the?
Chair, I think what is going on in our country is, you know, our argument. I've also seen a biasness in our arguments and our approach as panelists. Most of us are, I think we are in diaspora. Our standard that we are applying or expecting from our leaders is based on the practice of where we live. You expect, the position of titles here really doesn't matter. Nobody cares about it.
Title, yeah.
But because nobody even recognizes that you are who you are, because it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, both of you, we use that principle, physics principle, that is called, I think it is physics, Gay-Lussac's law, where it says regardless of the root, the product is the same. Regardless of what you do, all of you get paid money. So that is why it's not a big thing for us. However, you can realize that inherently we are possessed with that kind of sense of recognition. That's why you find there are others who are abroad. They do certain things to get that attention, to be known that they are abroad, they are outside the country as well. That is because naturally we want to be associated with bigger things, superior things, and so forth. I want to go back to what, like my brother Bob also emphasized. For many years, we didn't know that Raila Amolo Odinga had seen a loophole in governance. And he knew that the more pressure that you put to the government of the day, the more they want and they develop interest to calm you down by bringing you to the table and negotiating. And for that reason, then the Luo Nyanza has also mastered the art of putting pressure kuvaa sufuria kwa street, and then all of a sudden now
Things are
those
flowing.
people who voted for William Ruto, who don't go back and put pressure. William Ruto says wachana na hao kwanza, hao hawana shida iko wapi? Let's put a band-aid here, and that band-aid goes a long way.
Yes.
You know, you and me, those who wako hapa ng'ambo, sometimes unaonanga kwa familia, huyu nani yule ako na kierere, una deal with na kierere, unasema huyu ni understanding, una wachana na hao. Or sometimes you sacrifice your own family or your mother. Unasema my mom will understand, but my brothers might not understand.
Yeah.
You try to put fires off that area. That is what William Ruto sometimes has found himself doing, in ensuring that he will get favor when it comes to 2027. But in the meantime, development is going there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talk about what we see in terms of oversight,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at Nyamira, for example, there is a gate that was built for 7 million. The governor was not impeached for actually doing what they did.
Yes.
There are a lot of things that have been done. Obado was not impeached because he had his gods, or he had connections, social capital,
Mm-hmm.
that actually defended him. In the case of Maribe, Jackie Maribe and Joey,
Mm-hmm.
you can see clearly that as much as on certain counts of, Jackie was not found guilty, to a certain extent, she should have been held culpable
Yes.
for abating crime and so forth. But it goes down to selective application of justice,
Mm-hmm.
or selective application of implementing or executing the chapter 6 of integrity
Mm-hmm.
and leadership. So I want to see what we saw during the Monda, deputy governor of Kisii. We want to see that across, making sure that we are sanitizing our country. The other thing I want to agree with Bob is that the president has a goodwill for this country. Digitalization of government services is one way of fighting corruption. As a leader, and you know that, you cannot fight everything. Otherwise, there are things that you look at them and you say, you choose your battles.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that if you fight everyone in your leadership, you will end up making more enemies within you, and they will cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
So some things you left time to heal them and the public to make their own judgment. But I can tell you that what we should be concerned is not the president rolling out digitalization of government services. We should be concerned the auditing of those government services at the end of it. Each citizen made 5 billion or 3 years. How was this money collected? How was this money spent? That should be our concern. The issue of trivializing planting of trees. Kenya, in the past, had a lot of trees, and we've cut trees, and there's climate change is real. I think it's a good thing to plant trees. The problem is the money that has been set aside to plant trees, is it used to the last penny for that purpose? If it's not, then we should pause that exercise and ensure that when that money has been set aside for that particular purpose, as it is used to the last penny. Then the issue of job creation. I just wanted to remind my brother Keja that the president is, together with a cabinet secretary of information and I think technology, Eliud Owalo, are working hard. That is why Oracle Kenya is opening a cloud-based I think it's called CIO or something like that, in Kenya. So we we can plant digital trees. So the CS, I wanted to tell my brother Keja that Oracle.
Hold on. Digital
Oracle
trees.
Kenya,
Digital trees.
please, Chair, you can mute his mic because I need to make sure that he gets this point that the creation of jobs does not necessarily have to be what you expect from the president. Please also understand that there is creation of jobs. The president, the Oracle team, and has been seen with President William Ruto and the CS Eliud Owaro actually in collaboration to ensure that there is job creation through the cloud, Nairobi being the region besides Johannesburg office for Oracle headquarters. So what are we saying? We are saying that, and even actually the president commented that the government will leverage the Oracle cloud-based solution in creating jobs. Those are milestones that we need to realize that as much as we want to trivialize that we are sending out people to the foreign countries, it is okay. The president, it is this government that has come out and encouraged people to go out there to ensure that people are going out here. When we come out here, I've seen people recently, actually there is an issue that happened here in Canada. Where we lost one lady who came to Canada, and somehow, unfortunately, she passed on. I saw a lot of people coming to social media and condemning Canada for to have not provided a timely response for that lady. But when you look at the circumstances around that, you realize that I saw some, even our own leaders here, local leaders, trying to condemn even the Kenyan High Commission for not timely responding to issues such as those. I want to tell you that the High Commission has nothing to do with you. When you come and claim, for example, asylum against the government, and you say this government is unable to protect me, and whereas when you left the country, you indicated to the Canadian government that I have enough money that will take care of myself when I get there to your country, and that I will not be a nuisance in your country. And then when you get here, then you become that very same thing that you had indicated that you will not be. Then you expect the government to act.
So what's your point?
So the rest of the panelists clearly understand that I'm trying to say that when we come out here abroad, we don't come here to send money back to the government. We send money to our relatives. And in the process, our relatives will spend within the economy, and our economy will thrive. So we have zero entitlement to blame the government and tell them we are sending so much money back home. I have not seen myself sending to the government of Kenya any money, telling them that this is for your personal upkeep, this is for your plan for roads and infrastructure, this is for A, B, C, D. So sometimes we are entitled. Our entitled is misplaced. So when the government is encouraging you and creating diplomatic relationships for us to come out here and do the jobs, we should applaud the government. The government has a responsibility of ensuring that we.
What is your point?
I'm sure by now you got my point. It's just that you are selectively taking my point. But
no, I'm not selectively. Give me the whole point. What is your point? What is the biggest point?
Hey, Keja, stop it, bro.
The government has a responsibility of ensuring that I'm able to get a passport. The government has a responsibility to make sure that the airports are passable for me to travel, and I get assistance. The government has the responsibility of ensuring that there's diplomatic relationship, that when I'm transiting through Europe, I get assistance. And the passport says, though, on behalf of the government, it requests that the bearer of the passport must be accorded any support or assistance that he might need while holding the passport. That is the responsibility of the government. So
Yes.
sometimes our entitlement is exaggerated. That is what I was saying. So the government has made milestones, and gradually we will have the impact. You and me remember that there was a problem in 2008 to 2012, when Obama came in. The dollar was not doing very well. The housing market wasn't doing very well.
Yes.
But after some time, gradually, after towards the end of the last his years in the office in 2012, the economy started getting back to its feet. And that's what we hope. And we have seen Kenyan's economy trying to gradually, the shilling is regaining. So why are we not coming out and applauding our leaders? Also say this way. I like the debate from Doro. I like the debate from Bob. Constructive criticism, where there is where we give our due. Give sorry, I'm saying give credit where it's due, and criticize where it's necessary. Constructive criticism is good, because then our leaders can reflect and say, hey, oh, by the way, we are doing good, and our people can see that we are doing good. So here's where we are not doing good. But if you keep criticizing everything the government is doing, they will say, hata wapake mafuta wata criticize too. Now they will not do anything.
Point taken. All right, guys, thank you so much. This has been a very, very lively discussion today. I really appreciate your contribution and wonderful exchange. I believe we continue this. I think, Mr. you have pointed out something very important. We always need to look both sides of the coin, so to speak. When something is right, we need to acknowledge. When something is wrong, we need to point it out. At the end of the day, you get more attention, and you get people to listen to you, because they know this person is always going to be fair. But when you lean towards one side, whether you say, hey, this government is good, even when it's not doing the right thing, then people will like, after all, you never see anything wrong. And then if you're on the other side and say this government is bad, even when it's doing the right thing, then it'll be like, after all, you never acknowledge anything. And then you end up losing meaning, even though you may have a valid point of criticism or support, but then because you have always been leaning on one side, it gets lost in the sea of, hey, after all, you always on one side, you've never been fair or choose a side. So I really thank you guys so much. I hope we'll meet again next week. We continue with this discussion. The one thing I want to encourage and always say, let's use the processes that we have in place. For example, the issues with the counties. We need to trickle down what happened in the Senate, the bipartisan in the Senate, to go down to the county assemblies also and say, hey, can you assess somebody critically based on their performance? Not based on, oh, you refuse to give me this contract, so I'm going to start an impeachment process on you. Or there's an impeachment process coming in, and then now you decide, because I've been given this contract, I'm not going to support it, even though you know somebody is doing something wrong. I think once we get the system we have in place, because we have good systems, but we are not using them effectively and in the correct way, then we can make our country better than what it is right now. And that's what I just wanted to end with and say thank you so much. Thank you, Steven, in the studio, for your patience and for your technical assistance and making sure that we are on air on time and everything is working all right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And for those who have been watching and those who are going to rewatch, we hope we have impacted and given you rightful information that will make a difference in your life. Asanteni sana. The Taco edition, Diaspora edition ends now. See you next week. Bye-bye and have a blessed day. Thank you.